I'd like to call tonight's meeting to order. It's March 3rd, 2016. The time is 7 p.m. If you'll all stand for the prayer and pledge. Please bow with me. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for everything you've given us, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to serve this great city. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to live in a wonderful town with great people. I just ask that you tonight guide us and direct us as we make decisions for this city. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Second item is approval of the agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
First and a second, any discussion?
Mayor, I'd like to request removal of item G tonight for further restructuring, and we'll bring it back at a later date.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Third item is citizens' comments, and the only one is Miss Donna Brooks.
My name is Donna Brooks. I live at 7315 Chester Road. While Bob and I don't have direct involvement with the employees, we have developed a perception of how some might feel given the circumstances and drawing from our own experiences. We also know how many citizens feel. In order to keep employees and citizens from having to come forward if they are afraid to or to pay for focus groups, I am going to tell you what our perception is. We do not have direct knowledge of all of these, and we hope you will not take advantage of that to say that they aren't true. Perception is reality until proven otherwise. People believe that Mr. Hall is the puppet of some on the board. Those employees that have a relationship to the BOC or Mr. Hall get promoted and get raises. The departments with connections are given special consideration at budget time. If employees do not go along with the status quo or raise questions, they are pushed out. Citizens believe there are those with connections that get approvals for variances, that discrepancies in the codes are looked at one way for one builder and another way for others. If a committee does not go along with the status quo, the committee is discontinued or ignored. If someone volunteers for a committee and they are not on the approved list, you as a board will hold the nominations until you can stack the committee. Citizens are afraid of the police department. We have heard of cases of harassment and intimidation. The perception is they are allowed to do whatever they want to do with no oversight. During elections, businesses are threatened if they support the wrong candidate. People's livelihoods are threatened. A church was even threatened for allowing citizens to meet in their fellowship hall. When someone tries to point out problems, they are ignored or ridiculed. Something or someone led employees to believe that citizens are against them. That is totally not true. We appreciate each and every one of them. They have done an outstanding job during the last 3 years as we try to turn our situation around. They are the glue holding the city together. If there are any citizens or employees that want to share their firsthand perspectives, we hope you come forward at the time of the hearing. If you can't, we totally understand. If you want me to present it without your name attached, I will be happy to do that. From our perspective, there are a few things that will help bring everyone together again. Start with the investigation. Half of the town is going to believe you came to the right decision if you were tough. The other half are going to believe you caved to politics, especially the employees involved. or vice versa if there is no finding of wrongdoing. Given the circumstances, the least that should be done is have an independent outsider look over the investigation and give their opinion. That should reinforce our standing if there are lawsuits. Next, take the list that was printed in the Observer, create a report showing how each decision was correct or a mistake. Show if you followed policies and provide the policies. Even if we promote from within, the position should be posted where any employee with the qualifications can apply. When discretion was used and it goes against policy, I think those decisions should be redone. I know that affects employees' lives, but you can never set things right with a cloud over your head. And since Brandy is here, I will use her as an example. She might be the best recorder we have ever had, but she will never be able to overcome the perception she got the job based on Mr. Hall owing Commissioner Johnson. Post the positions again. Current employees can apply, have an independent consultant make the decisions, or have a citizens group along with the city manager make the decisions. If the current employee is not selected, give them at least a month's severance. You may say this is unfair to the employees, but at the time the decision was made, it was unfair to qualified applicants. We have citizens that are qualified to run for the board that are probably hesitant to do so because of the past dirty tactics. We have already seen some of this just by someone saying they might be interested. You as a board can call it out when it happens. If we want what is best for our city, we must rise above this. Create job descriptions with legitimate qualifications and follow them. If policies need to change, whether employee-related or zoning, don't do it when the situation arises. Look them over and change them now. Our decisions should be based on our vision and our needs, not individuals or projects. And last, but certainly not least, follow the policies and procedures that are created. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that brings us to awards and recognition.
Mayor, staff has none tonight.
Okay. And then the fifth item is public announcements.
Thank you, Mayor. We have a presentation here tonight from Kristen Ertel regarding GraceWorks, and I'd like to allow her a few extra minutes in citizens' comments. And if she will come to the podium, we would love to hear her talk. Thank you.
Welcome.
Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, employees, citizens of Fairview and surrounding community. Thank you for allowing me the time to speak with you today. In June 2014, I was given the opportunity to serve our community as manager of GraceWorks West, which was previously Helping Hands. Helping Hands was started in 2008 to assist families in Fairview with real needs, food and clothing mainly. And as those needs became greater than Helping Hands could sustain, they asked GraceWorks Ministries to give assistance. On July 1st, 2014, GraceWorks West opened the doors, and in that month, we filled 164 requests for needs. GraceWorks West is able to not only help with food and clothing, we also help with utility and rent assistance, and we help with transportation, we help with seasonal needs, heaters, air conditioners, Thanksgiving food baskets, Christmas food baskets, and we also offer educational opportunities for families in our community. In just 1 year, so exactly 1 year later, in July of 2015, GraceWorks West filled 405 requests for help. That was a 147% increase from just the previous year. I want to give you a few statistics. I don't want you to just see numbers, but I want to give you kind of a base of what we have seen through GraceWorks in our community in the past 18 months. So these numbers are through our July 1, 2014 through December 31st of 2015. GraceWorks West assisted in 5,438 requests for help. Just for clarification, those requests for help could have been food, could have been clothing, could have been rent assistance, could have been utility assistance. Any of the above things that I mentioned are included in that number. We provided 1,887 food carts, and given the federal guidelines, those food carts valued over $400,000. We contributed $44,559 in rent and mortgage assistance and temporary housing for the homeless and families in distress. And then we also assisted in over $44,000 to provide help for utilities so that families would not be without water or electricity. So on behalf of GraceWorks Ministries and specifically GraceWorks West, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for your support. Without the countless volunteer hours, the endless donations of food and clothing and household items, financial support, and just plain love for our community, we would not have been able to serve the community in this way. The community continues to support our thrift store, and through our thrift store, that provides us money for future assistance and programs for our neighbors here in Fairview. But again, I don't want you to just hear numbers. So I want to tell you one story out of the many success stories that we see on a weekly and monthly basis. The Tuesday after we had the snow and schools were closed, GraceWorks was closed, we had a young lady that walked through our doors immediately as we opened on that Tuesday morning, and she had a utility bill in her hand. And so she came in to speak with us. She really didn't understand what to do. We quickly found out that she is one of our Fairview High School students. She's a senior. She is set to graduate in May. But she had the utility bill in her hand because that Sunday afternoon, her mom had been taken to the hospital. She had been spending the night in the hospital with her mom. Doctors weren't really sure what was going on, and the young girl just didn't know how to get the utility bill paid, but she knew it had to be paid. And so she brought it to us. We were able to sit and talk with her a little bit. Obviously, we assured her that GraceWorks would take care of the utility bill. But in the conversation, we found out that she was, again, she was a senior in high school. She was worried about going back to school without a note for being tardy to school. So we gave her a note to go back to school. And about 2 days later, I hadn't heard from her. So I called the hospital where I knew her mom was and quickly found out that mom had been moved to ICU. So in the course of about an hour, I was able to get in touch with one of our long-term volunteers who used to be a pastor, and he went up to the hospital to sit with the daughter and to sit with mom. Mom did indeed have surgery, and lots of things happened in that time frame. We found out that the young girl does have a job in Franklin. She was driving to the hospital, staying with mom overnight, getting up, driving back to Fairview, going to school, then driving to work, and then driving back to the hospital, spending the night. And this was happening on a daily basis. And so through the course of about 3.5 weeks, we walked with this family. We were able to support the daughter with gas money for the extra going back and forth. We were able to pay rent for the month of March. We were able to cover the utility bill. And we were able to give the daughter a sense of peace and hope that she wasn't by herself. This is just one of our families in Fairview that truly are not connected with other families. They don't have any family. It's just the mom and the daughter. And so programs that we have set up through GraceWorks West truly become a blessing to a lot of the families here in Fairview. GraceWorks Ministries is committed by God's grace to walk with our neighbors, to provide hope and encouragement and a path to self-sufficiency. And one of the things that we have begun just in the last few months is a program called Stepping Forward. And Stepping Forward is a program, if you want to call it a program. We truly view it and value it as relationship building. One of the things we love to say is that no significant learning happens without significant relationship. So through this program, we have mentors that are people in the community that are committed to walking with neighbors in crisis. And they are mentors to families, to individuals, on a basis where we can provide continuous support throughout the course of a year to 18 months in order to help them meet their goals. A lot of times life throws things at us, and very capable people give up on their goals. They give up on their dreams. They decide that it's too hard. They decide that there's no way that they're going to get from point A to point B because of all the stuff in between. So with this program, we truly believe that we can bridge that gap, and we can make a way for very capable individuals to move from crisis to self-sufficiency. For me, this is a very exciting way to engage our community and to be able to continue to provide hope and encouragement in times of great need. GraceWorks West is truly growing very quickly, sometimes quicker than I think I can hold on. And the numbers, yes, are the numbers. In January and February of just this year, we have already served over 400 requests each month, which is another about 38% increase from this time last year in 2015. So we know that the need for an organization to just truly sit and listen and work with individuals to meet their needs, that reality is real for us. And we have a community that is wonderful in giving and wonderful in supporting, and we want to make sure that our community knows that we appreciate them so much, and we want to challenge them to continue to be involved. We want to challenge them to continue to meet their neighbors and to have conversation and send people that they run into to GraceWorks if there's a need. GraceWorks West is really excited about the future of the city of Fairview and the surrounding community. We know just by the statistics that in Williamson County, people are moving out of Franklin and Brentwood. They're moving out of Franklin because they can't afford to live in Franklin. And we see the effects of that because we see people coming to Fairview, coming to the outskirts of the county. That's where they're moving because that's what's affordable. And so we want to make sure that we are a strong support system for the community, and not in a way that makes people comfortable to stay where they are, but an organization that strives to push people to what they can be. we do see a lot of pain, we see a lot of suffering, we see a lot of hopelessness, and we see it on a daily basis. But I hope you hear the hope and the grace and the kindness and the encouragement that people who walk through the doors of GraceWorks West get every day. So I just want to leave you with this, and I really, really appreciate the time to speak. Dietrich Bonhoeffer said, "We must learn to regard people less in the light of what they do or what they omit to do, and more in the light of what they suffer." Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for everything you do. We really appreciate the hard work that you put into serving our community, and thank you so much for coming to share with some of the great things that are going on there, and come back anytime. And I just encourage anybody that is interested in helping serve and to grow this program, please contact GraceWorks West. So, okay, that will bring us to the public announcements, then staff comments. We'll start with, do we have any public announcements?
I will do them both at the same time.
Okay, go ahead.
The mission testing is every Monday and Tuesday from 7:30 to noon out at the test station. And I'll move on into my comments as far as the codes department.
Okay,
As y'all well know, I'm reporting more lately on the grants that we are proceeding with, and roadscapes will probably be within the next 2 to 3 weeks. We'll be starting the planning process up around the Cloverleaf at Highway 196. Today I was on a conference call for quite a while with TDOT, 2 members of TDOT, and Kimberly Horn, Zach Dufour, their engineer there. We've had some details that we've finally got worked out today on moving forward with the safe routes to school. So it looks like now the sidewalks are finally going to be coming this spring, hopefully. So we've got the right-of-way already completed. We got the utilities already checked out on that. The other thing is Tiger Trail is now part of our interlocal agreement with the county, and our original proposal has been accepted. And we're hoping that will be moved forward pretty soon as far as that subdivision there. That's, I think it'll be coming to y'all for next meeting for the final vote on that particular PUD development over there. That's all I have right now. Thank you.
thank you. Sounds like you're busy,
Quite a bit.
to say the least. Thank you for those updates. Okay, do we have any updates, Ms. Johnson?
I'll give a final census report from the CRISP group. They counted a total of 2,254 homes and 8,020 individuals. That's a 300% increase from the 2010 federal census. And I kind of asked them to give me a little insight into how ours went versus other ones they've done, and they did let us know that they did have some challenges with this one, and especially compared to some of the other projects they did. There were 3 rounds of mailings, 2 rounds of phone calls from the list that the city provided them. We had a total of 223 non-responsive households, and then in addition, there were 29 households who just refused to provide any information. So that's quite a few households, and that's, I'll have to say, a little disappointing to us as staff especially. So there was a lot of work and a lot of effort that went into this. In addition to the letters that went out, each house was knocked at least once on this non-responsive list, and some up to 5 times. So I'll hand it over to Tom. He's got some more details.
Okay, I will say thank you because I personally went knocking with you. So I appreciate, I know y'all worked hard, and I know the company knocked several times, and then, you know, you, and then I know Tom went one day. I know we've had several, I can't list everybody, but, you know, thank you for all the employees that gave it their time. So, and go ahead, tell us more. Something good, Tom.
I've got a couple of good things. And I do want to expand on the census real quick. I got a call from Brandy, I can't remember Tuesday afternoon. She said, you want me to send this? We've got 300 over. You want me to send it on to Upper Cumberland? I was sitting there going, 300 times 125. Anyway, I said, yeah, go ahead. So what it does is, we'll start receiving revenue in October. And that should start over the first year. We should get revenue of $37,500 for 4 years with this 300 addition. So that should be over the 4-year period, $150,000 in revenue. You take out our $38,500 investment, we should have a revenue of $111,500 over the 4-year period, and that's not near what we were hoping for. You take the whatever number that we had times 2.7, which is a rough amount, you're talking another 680 on the thing, which is about where we thought we would be. So it's, but on the good hand, we are going to be on the positive over time. I was impressed with Chris' work. They really worked hard. I'm sorry. I'm going to back up just a little bit. I also want to echo thanks to the mayor, staff, and employees who knocked door to door. It's interesting when you're meeting new neighbors and their pets, and I think anybody that went out and knocked got at least one door shut in their face. So it's you went, wait, don't you want your road paved? And then bam. So it was interesting. I do want to publicly announce that Upper Cumberland Development District will begin verification process in 2 weeks. And so they've got to verify 5%, which will be about 800 folks. So we're going to try to start with point them in the direction of the easiest to verify. And that's all I've got on the census. In addition, I'm going to move on to property taxes. As of February 29th, the city had collected 94.4%. We collected $517,827 in February. As of February 29th, we had collected $1,604,660. With that money, I've been able to do a few things, which it's going to be my last thing because it's the thing I'm most excited about. I know everybody's interested in the Christmas sales tax. Sales tax comes in three payments. We get a local option from the county, we get a local option from the state, and then we get just a state sales tax. Our total projection in our budget for Christmas time was $236,000. $255,974 and a penny came in, so we were over $19,974 and a penny. Now granted, we were using last year's numbers as our projections, but I think that's good news. And finally, I had a conversation with Mr. Hall, and I was debating on whether or not to do it, but I've been wanting to do this so bad since I've been here. I went ahead and did it. The school facilities tax is fully funded.
Yay!
There is
Oh, wait. Thank you.
There's
citizens.
approximately $582,400 in an LGIP account labeled school facilities tax. It's no longer, no school facilities tax exists in the checking account. And I've already gotten a call from Dr. Hoyer, and she didn't even know anything about this. So anyway, I'm sure people will find ways they won't spend that. But anyway, thank you. That's my report.
That's good news. Sorry, I got a little excited about that. Anybody else? I know that we have some guests back there tonight, and very excited about Chief Harris being back with us and agreeing to come back out of retirement. And didn't know if you had anything you wanted to say during this time? Nope.
I would just like to thank the community. I don't have Facebook, my wife does, but the community, their support was fantastic, and I do thank them and the commission. But actually, my retirement day was tomorrow.
We caught you just in time, huh?
Yes.
Okay, and then just also thank Chief O'Neill for stepping up and doing his part. Did you have anything tonight since you're here? Okay, thank you. Keith, come on up.
Party tomorrow night from 7 to 9:30. Come out and enjoy the stars. The next thing I have is the weed wrangle on March 5th, which is Saturday from 9 to noon.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that'll bring us to the consent agenda. Can I get a approval?
Second.
Okay, have first and second, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Old business, discuss and take action on ballot measures. Crutcher?
Thank you, Mayor. I think last meeting, we had asked the city attorney to come back with some information about possibly getting some, couple of referendums on the November general election ballot. One would be term limits for the commissioners, and the other was moving, instead of 3 commissioners running at the same time, it would be the mayor and 2 at-large commissioners running at the same time. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Cantrell.
Thank you, sir. I took the request and I did the research to find out how this could be done. And the only way that you can do this with our charter is the same way in which we got the consent agenda. We're going to have to get with the state representative and the state senator and ask them to amend the state statute to allow for what you're wanting to do. The method of election and the terms is found in our charter, section C-17, which also happens to be section 6-20-101 of the Tennessee Code annotated. And when this was set up, when the city was set up, those terms, they say the terms will be 4 years, except for the initial election, they had 2 that was 2 years, so that they would be changing at different times. Once that was done, it was 4 years for everybody, and once that was done, without an amendment by the legislature, it's cast in stone. There's a number of cases that deals with instances where legislatures have tried to change this type of charter by passing a resolution, and I'm not going to quote the stuff in there, but I will give you the cases, the leading cases. Marshall and Bruce Company versus City of Nashville goes all the way back to 1903. McCandless versus Barnes and Ingram. Charles E. Wilgus versus the City of Murfreesboro. And State of Tennessee on relation to John Lewis versus Sonny L. Bowman. Those cases all, and I can summarize them. Anybody wants to look at them in particular, I'll be happy to provide you with the direct quotes, but in paraphrasing them, it says that any attempt by a local legislative body to vary the state statute is, some of them say it's void, some say it's null and of no effect. So the only way we're going to get this done is to go to the state legislature and get them to amend that section so that I would assume that you would want on a resolution to place a referendum on the ballot for term limits. I don't think the board wants to do that on their own. That was the indication I got.
That's right.
If I'm wrong, please correct me. But as to how much of a board would it require to do that, we can suggest that in the resolution you send to the state. Do you want it just to be a simple majority? Do you want it 2/3? There's no difference on this board in 2/3 and 3/4 because they both require 4. That's something that I can put together something and probably have it by the middle of next week and send it to all of you so that you can look at it, and it's not going to insult me if you come back and say, no, you didn't understand it this way, or if we all understood it that way and you want to change something else, then we can still change it and get a vote on it and send it on to the powers that be. Now, I will touch on the deadlines that we've got here. Relative to the mayor and the 2 commissioners, I do remember when they did the popularly elected mayor, that's covered in under the charter in C-26, which is TCA 620-201. When they did that, that was done by referendum, and when that passed, this board by ordinance, and I remember preparing the ordinance, I think I remember whose seat they selected, but don't hold me to that, but they had to select one seat, the Board of Commissioners, to be the mayor's seat, and that's the reason it became 2 and 3. I believe, and I'm subject to be corrected on this, but I believe because he was not coming back, I believe the seat that was selected to be the mayor's seat was the one that was held at that time by Commissioner Darrell Mangrum. Now, I could be subject to be corrected on that, but that's my memory. We would have to ask the the state legislature to correct that, to make it so that, and to comply with what you were requesting, we can request them to have it an election that it would be ideal if it could happen this time. So because you're going to have 3, it's not going to do much good if you got 2, but 3, then you could change that 1 to be a short period, and then after that 2 years it'd be 4, so that you'd end up with 2 commissioners, and at one time you'd have 2 commissioners and the mayor. But we'll have to do it in that manner. Now, there is another way that they sometimes do this. Legislatures are getting a little bit slow to do this type of thing, and I can understand why, because whichever challenge, quite frankly, I think you'd lose. They can create one of these, and you see them, especially years ago in the old ones all the time, a city that has a population not more but not less than. I wouldn't recommend that you do that, because the Attorney General has already opined that that's somewhat questionable and borders on being, if not unconstitutional, the first time it gets challenged, it probably will be, because you'd have the burden of showing that you have something unique in that population that they selected that nobody else has. And I think that's pretty hard to do. But the legislature, if they look at this and say, okay, everybody's got this type of charter, can do this, they don't have to. But we do have some time constraints, and I'll tell you what they are. Probably at the next meeting, I will have the resolution asking the Election Commission to put, I believe it's the 3 commissioners that's going to be voted on in November on the ballot with presidential election, because that cutoff date's May 20th. We've still got plenty of time, but I don't want to run it down too low, and I'll advise you when it is. Anything else is 75 days from whatever the election day is, and I haven't gone back and counted that, but it's a little more time. Legislature's in session, and if we act quickly on this, we may be able to do it. They may not, but to me, that's the only way you're going to get it done. And I'll be happy to prepare those 2 resolutions and send them out to everybody, and then you can give me feedback, change anything you want to change. It's not,
Sorry.
I'm not dictating. I just want to get something together, get it on paper so you can look at it.
Right. So the actual changing the number of commissioners that are running at a particular time would just be done by the legislature.
They would change the charter.
Change the charter, and then
So
as
that
far
you-
as the term limits, it would go as a referendum.
They would change the charter. You could do both of them by referendum, or they might, if you prefer, on the changing of the terms of the commissioner to make it where it's 2, 2, and 1. we could ask them to let the board vote on that.
Yeah, I think that's what I would rather do with that, because I don't necessarily know that particular,
Well, you're not really doing anything that's going to keep somebody from doing something.
right.
Term limits, I'm not out here campaigning for or against them. But I think, in all due respect to this board, if you're going to put term limits on the seats on the commission, it should be done by more than 5 people.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And that's the one that I definitely wanted to go to referendum. And I'm fine with you going ahead and drawing up the resolution if the rest of the board is. But can you make sure on the term limits that we're specific that it doesn't disqualify a commissioner, or an at-large commissioner from running for mayor again, or a mayor running for an at-large commission seat?
Right.
In other words, there's a path to stay on the board.
Yeah, I mean, if you're wanting, I think you're saying you want not more than 2 terms in that particular seat.
That's right.
If you were sitting as a commissioner and wanted to run for mayor, you could do that, or if you were the mayor. And do you want the terms to apply to the mayor also? 2 terms as mayor, and then you've got to come off.
Yes.
That was what I understood. I
Yes.
just wanted to be sure.
Yes.
Okay, I'll get those prepared and email a copy to Ms. Brandy and the city manager and to each one of you, hopefully by the close of my business by next Wednesday. Then you'll have some time to look at it before you come to it. And if you find something in there that you want, say, just send it to everybody and say, this is my thoughts, and then we'll come to some sort of consensus, and it would, obviously wouldn't vote on it, it's just an information thing. Then I can get those changes in there and bring them up to the next board meeting.
Well, and I really think we should consider taking the opportunity to look over the charter and see if there's any other changes, because while we're going, we might as well get it all done. And I know through the years, we've talked about some different options. So if you do have something, I guess,
I'll just concentrate on preparing these 2 because we are,
We're
in some
on time.
instances, close on time, depending on how long the legislature takes to act on it. I mean, I have no control over that.
Okay. Any other discussion about that?
And if something wild happens where I can't do that and I see it's going to be Thursday at noon, I'll send you all an email and say I've got this delay. It'll be there on Thursday, but I don't see any reason why I can't get it done by Wednesday.
Okay, Vice Mayor?
So do we need to get the city manager to instruct him to move forward with that?
In accordance with your ordinance, yes.
So Wayne, if you could do that, we'd appreciate it. Is that all right with everybody?
Yes.
Okay, if that's it on old business, we'll go to new business 10A, discuss and take action on Nashville Running Company, Bowie Park, 6 miler. Mr. Paisley?
We're coming to you to ask your permission to have the 4th Run Wild at Bowie Park, 6 miler. We have Beth Meadows here if you guys have any questions for her. She's representing the Nashville Running Company. They're offering us a 25% like they have the past 3 years. They've cleaned up after themselves. They've been a great group to be able to work with, and the money that they donate to us has gone for programming the first year. Second year went into music, and the last year is grounds maintenance.
Move for approval. Second.
Got a first and second, any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item B, discuss and take action of Bill 2016-04.
Ordinance number 918, an ordinance to change the zoning of certain property in the city of Fairview, Tennessee, located off Cox Pike, owned by Billy Pomeroy and Robert Pomeroy Jr., as shown in Williamson County Tax Map 43, parcel 32.04, 2 acres, and map 21, parcel 61.0506, 40.69 acres, and map 021, parcel 37.01, half an acre, from RS20 to R20 PUD overlay. Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. This is your first reading on this to vote for.
Okay. approval. Second.
Okay, we got a first and second. Any discussion?
We know what the vote was at the planning commission on this?
I don't remember the exact thing, but it was, I don't remember whether it was actually unanimous or not. Okay.
I forgot that.
I don't recall seeing it. I mean, I'm sure it's there, but I was trying to think. You're saying it was unanimous?
I believe it was.
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay. Okay. And exactly, what, can you refresh our memory exactly, Mr. Hall, what this was?
This was Phase 2 of Poston Place.
Poston Place,
Poston Place
okay.
2 is what it was.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item C, discuss and take action on resolution number 02-16.
A resolution to set a public hearing for the purpose of obtaining public comment on changes to zoning of certain property in the city of Fairview, Tennessee, located off Cox Pike, owned by Billy Pomeroy and Robert Pomeroy Jr., as shown in Williamson County Tax Map 43, parcel 32.04, 2 acres, and the map 21, parcel 6106, 40.69 acres, and the map 021, parcel 37.01, half an acre, from RS20 to R20 PUD. Overlay, Mr. Hall. Move for approval. Second.
First and second, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item D, discuss and take action on recommendation from the planning commissioner to rezone property located at 2652 Fairview Boulevard from RS40 to CG, map 69, parcel 32, 1.1 acres, owner Gary and Glenda Jaworski.
Jaworski.
Is anybody here representing them?
I don't see.
They don't have to be tonight.
This is just for authorization.
Okay.
It's for announcement to the board that it happened, that the recommendation occurred, and authorization for me to prepare the documents.
Move to approve.
Second.
I got a first and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Nay. Okay, item E, discuss or take action on the authorization to employ outside independent legal counsel related to a matter of contract or operation with a third-party provider. Mr. Hall.
I'm going to yield to Larry on this one, please.
Mayor and Board of Commissioners, this is something that probably won't happen very often, but when it does, you need to move on it quickly. Excuse me, and what it primarily would come down to would be things that, with a third-party provider, that the city needed to take some sort of action, and it would either be something that myself, I might be conflicted out, or there's some instances in the operations with your people that provide services to the city that you don't want staff involved in any more than you have to be, because you have to live with the people when it's over. And in this case, if you get independent legal counsel to come in, they do their job, they go on, they don't work with those people anymore. And it's not a commitment at this point for any money, because it would be on an engagement letter or a contract, and the board would have to approve the contract. It's just to approve the concept so that when these things happen, sometimes you have to act quickly. And if you've got a concept approved so you can do that, then all you got to do is get the money and bring it back and get the board to approve it.
Move for approval.
Got a first, or got a second on it? Okay, first and second, any discussion?
I thought this was to retain counsel. I thought this was a contract.
That would be the next thing. This is the concept, and then you take the, although the way it's written, if you want to authorize that, you certainly can.
I just thought in the packet there was an actual contract that was attached that the mayor would have to sign.
All right. Well, it's, the way it's written, you certainly can do that.
I'm not asking you to go into detail about what the contract is. I understand the reasons not to do that, but I'm just saying, are we approving to sign this contract, or what are we doing? That's what I'm
If
trying
you
to
want
figure
to
out.
approve signing the contract, you can.
I thought that's what we were doing too.
Well,
That's why I seconded it.
That's the way it's written. That's to employ outside independent legal counsel. So you are approving that, and you're approving the concept of if it came up another time for something else.
Well, I,
2 for 1.
what we're saying is that the next time, if we decided to do another contract, then we wouldn't have to bring it back. again.
Just the contract.
Just the contract.
That's correct.
I'm hoping we don't have to do this on a regular basis, but
Yes, Commissioner Crutcher, you are correct. That is, you would be approving the contract and approving the concept.
But they would still have to come in front of us with the contract if somebody was another, yeah.
By the charter, all contracts have to
Yeah.
come before the board.
Okay. So everybody clear on what you're voting for? Okay. Got a first and, any more discussion? No? Okay, got a first and second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item F, discuss and take action on Chipper Hall.
Thank you, Mayor. We've had a major breakdown on our chipper, and Keith Paisley has a presentation tonight he'd like to present to y'all.
Okay?
I talked to you guys a little while ago about the chipper breaking, and we didn't know if it could be repaired or not. Well, apparently it can be repaired for $17,736.78. However, that does not guarantee that the welds will not re-break. You're replacing the whole back end of the chipper. So at this time, we are asking your approval to put the chippers out for bid and see what kind of money it's going to cost us to do that.
So moved.
Second.
First and second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 11, city manager's items of discussion. City manager.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Board of Commissioners. I'm not going to try to go past what Brandy and Tom and all the good news that they've had tonight. I'm just tickled to death the way things have come out on the financial end of our goal that we've had. So that's my, I just don't want to go take Tom's thunder away from him tonight.
Okay. Mr. Cantrell?
Thank you, Mayor. Out of deference to my good friend Commissioner Bissell, I think I've spoken enough tonight. I have nothing further. Thank you.
Okay. Well, with Commissioner Bissell, let's start with him first.
well, how could I follow that by saying anything? You know, so I'll pass tonight.
Okay. And Commissioner Crutcher?
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Okay. And Commissioner Johnson?
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Okay.
Everybody come home, watch the debate if they want to.
Okay. And Vice Mayor Sutton?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Okay. I did just want to make a quick statement. Also, I am excited that Chief Harris is coming back, so I wanted to use that opportunity to kind of give an update. I know the city manager sent out a press release. We have contacted Jeff Long with the Williamson County Sheriff's Department. They have agreed. We are doing an internal they're going to take over the internal investigation. And we hope, as soon as we get any answers and it's concluded, we'll definitely report to the citizens. Also, I just have to say, I am so thrilled. I'm sorry y'all didn't get as excited about me as I did about the school facility tax being removed out of the checking account and kept in a separate account and being totally funded. That was always one of the hardest things for me with the budget process and where we were, because the kids mean so much, and I really am just thrilled that we're where we are and we can hopefully budget the money back in where we can give back to the schools. So thrilled about that. Keep up the good work. Really proud of the citizens. And, I know the police department feels like they're taking a beating, but those guys down there and ladies are working hard, and really appreciate that. And to everybody else with the census, thank you for what you've done. And fire department, I can't leave any of them out. So I know they had to share their chief for a little while, and that probably added some extra strain. So with that being said, if I could get a motion, we'll close the meeting.
So moved. Second.
Okay, meeting adjourned.